All of us want the same thing. We want results in our physical fitness, our mental acuity, our financial fitness. But if we don't have good blood, what does any of that matter? If you make a ton of money, you can do 100 push-ups, you drop a lot of weight, you're mentally sharp. If your blood isn't healthy, if your blood gives you a heart attack or a stroke or inflames your body so badly, you might be alive, but you're not feeling very good, and you lose your mobility, it gets chipped away, you feel less like yourself because your mental sharpness is being chipped away over time. What does any of that stuff matter if you don't have really healthy blood and you're not working on that and maintaining that? So let's talk about that for a moment. And everything I tell you here is not meant to undermine any healthcare professional that you might be working with. So take responsibility for your own wellness, your own safety, and do your own research. Talk to your own healthcare professional team members. And I'm just going to share with you as a layperson that likes to learn new things. And I've been on this path of learning for 13 years and counting so far. Right now it's 2020, the month of August 23rd. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my example here. So I'm 43 years old right now. I just turned 43 this past July 19th, 2020. As a 43-year-old, I am on 0 medications. I don't even take over-the-counter stuff. I haven't taken a pharmacological drug, not even Tylenol or aspirin, in over at least 13, 14, probably about 15 years now or something like that. And I have no aches, no pains whatsoever. Now let's talk about my blood. Put down some notes here. I take my blood sugar regularly now because I'm in my 40s and it's a good idea. I have a blood glucose meter. I prick my finger the whole 9 yards. I do that about once every couple of weeks or so because my numbers are so beautiful. I don't need to do it more regularly than that. But last time I took it was just the other day. It was 88 milligrams per deciliter. First thing in the morning when I first wake up before I eat anything, just had a glass of water that has water does not do anything to blood sugar. 89 is awesome. Upper 80s is awesome. Blood pressure. I took that the same day, the other day. It was 118 over 67. 43 years old, no medications for anything. That's awesome. My resting heart rate is 44. Now that one, if you're dealing with somebody that eats a typical American diet, they're kind of sedentary, not physically active, 44 would be dangerous. It could be bradycardia, and that could require an emergency room visit. Who knows? But that would be of concern, to say the least. But the reason mine is 44 is because, I've been doing physical fitness now and eating a plant-based whole food diet for years and years. And that's mostly because of my physical fitness part of it. The plant-based diet gives me the fuel for my workouts, and I push my anaerobic threshold. So I'm not just doing aerobics, but I'm working my butt off and reaching momentary muscular failure in different sets in my workouts. I've been working out like that for a long time, which pushes my anaerobic threshold up, which results in a heart that's so efficient that I can have a resting heart rate of 44. And when I mean resting, I don't mean I just sit down for a moment after doing whatever. Okay, now I'm resting, I take my heart rate. No, otherwise it would be higher. I'm talking before I get out of bed, I actually lay there in bed, take my pulse, carotid artery or radial artery, and I'll take my pulse, and it's about 44 right now. That's pretty freaking amazing. That's a sign of a very efficient heart when put in its proper context. My cholesterol, well, for that I'd have to go to a doctor for that, and I haven't been to one in a very long time. But those other readings are so good, and I don't eat food that has cholesterol in it because I follow a plant-based diet. Plants don't have cholesterol. Cholesterol is found in meat and dairy, so my body just makes the cholesterol that I need all on its own without adding any to it. So I'm sure my cholesterol is great. But for the purpose of being educational in this video, because I've done research on this many, many years ago, and it still holds true today. This hasn't really changed much as far as cholesterol goes. But healthy cholesterol levels is going to be, there's 2 different kinds of protein molecules that transport cholesterol throughout our body. So you'll hear good cholesterol and bad cholesterol to simplify things, but really there's only one cholesterol. They just have 2 different carriers. One of them is good, one of them is bad. So the bad one, the one that's been called bad, is LDL. That stands for low density lipoprotein molecules. Transport the cholesterol because it's so low in density. As it's transporting cholesterol, some of it gets left behind and some of it can stick to your vessel walls. And over time, that can cause plaque buildup, atherosclerosis. It can prevent the arteries from expanding and contracting, which is really dangerous. So low density is bad. And you want to keep that number below 120 is what's considered safe. If it's over 120 measured in milligrams per deciliter, then that's unsafe, and your doctor will probably put you on medications. If you have a good doctor, your doctor is also going to recommend exercise, a plant-based diet, if something that would work for you. If you have a doctor that's only going to put you on medications, get a different doctor. Have the goal of being medication-free safely. And if you don't have a doctor that agrees with you or has that same goal in mind for you, get a different doctor. Just shop around, take as long as it takes, because this is, after all, your health. You need to be your own advocate, and you need a doctor that's also going to be your advocate and not the pharmaceutical company's advocate. I can't stress that enough. Okay, and then there's what's called the good cholesterol, and that's HDL. So HDL stands for high density lipoprotein molecules. And because of its high density, as it's transporting cholesterol, not only does it not leave any cholesterol behind, but if there is cholesterol left behind stuck to your vessels, it'll actually scoop some of that up and bring it with. So HDL, high density lipoprotein molecules, that transporter of cholesterol, that is your heart's number one protector and your brain's number one protector too. The number one protector is HDL, the transporter of cholesterol with the high density lipoprotein molecules, because it'll take some of that cholesterol with it that's already sticking. That's awesome. That's amazing. So you want to make sure that is over 60 milligrams per deciliter. If your HDL is below 60, your number one's heart protector isn't in great enough numbers to clear out your vessels, but your LDL is high, so then you're leaving behind cholesterol, but you don't have enough of the high density molecules sweeping by to sweep up what's left behind of the LDL. That's a deadly combination, and that is a grave concern. And here's another one. This is something that they don't test for regularly that I'm aware of, and I'm not sure when they would ever test for this, but there's something called endothelial cells, which line your vessels, all of your vessels in your body. Now these emit a gas called nitrous oxide, and this gas keeps things flowing without sticking, okay? So if you have too many of the low-density lipoprotein molecules transporting your cholesterol and not enough high-density lipoprotein molecules transporting cholesterol, so there's a lot being left behind and it's not being swept up, and you have endothelial cell damage, which isn't releasing the nitrous oxide gas, keeping things flowing smoothly along, that means it's more likely to stick to your vessels. And so now you've got a case where it's just a matter of time, probably over a dozen years or so, where you're going to build up enough plaque on your vessels to lead to atherosclerosis. They're not going to expand and contract. And here's what typically happens. An acute heart attack or a stroke, and typically when this happens, it's just out of nowhere. You don't really get a warning for it. It's just you might be doing something where you're exerting yourself more than usual. And maybe the last time you exerted yourself that heavy, you didn't quite have that limitation on your elasticity within your blood vessels, so it was okay. But now it's gotten worse enough to where you exert that energy again, and suddenly now there's no elasticity or not enough, and those working cells are not getting the nutrients that they need because your blood vessels can't expand and contract because there's so much blockage. And if we're talking about the heart not getting what it needs, or the brain, well, you could have a heart attack or a sudden stroke, and it could kill you, or it could severely cripple you for the rest of your life. So that's how that plays out. So those are the main blood panel readings. There's a lot of other ones, but those are the big ones. And when it comes to holistics, you can holistically heal yourself, but you can also holistically destroy yourself. And all of these things work together. So typically, if these numbers are really good, like you can see this, my little notes I made for myself, so I don't miss anything important. But if those numbers are really good, generally, probably everything else is going to be really good too, because it all works in concert. And if those numbers are bad, generally, everything else is probably going to be really bad too. So then what's the solution for that? It's the opposite of a pill for every ill, which is the pharmacological industry. We're talking about nature here. Every vitamin controls tens of thousands, if not trillions, of different chemical reactions in the body, versus one vitamin or one mineral or one nutrient controls one thing in the body. No, it's totally different. So if you're eating a plant-based whole food diet, it's a wide scope of different nutrients in those plants that you're eating. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Just those greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Yeah, just those 6 things. Eat more, but just get those 6 things covered on a daily basis. and you're getting such a wide scope of nutrients, you're going to get what you need to improve all of those blood panel numbers. So look at that and see how you can creatively add those to your diet on a regular basis and just eat a clean, plant-based whole food diet. Now you can go to my website, tomberkenmeyer.com. I've got tons of recipes, tons of information, a grocery list, very comprehensive, to help you along with figuring out something that is simple, that works for you, even if you're on a limited time budget or a limited financial budget, because everyone's at a different place in their life, different circumstances. So I've got so much in there. I try to have something, I do have something for everybody. It's just a matter of the will and the sense of self-preservation. Do you want to learn these things? I hope you do, because it's not just you. There's people that love and care about you, who want you to be around and who want you to be doing well and feeling well. So it's really important, okay? So consider my website, tomberkenmeyer.com, a resource. And you got Google and YouTube also. And I'm also on YouTube there, so you might run into me on YouTube as well. So, and physical activity. So you could have a squeaky clean diet, which is actually more important than physical activity, but you need both. The diet is going to fuel better workouts, and you're going to feel better doing those workouts. But if you're doing both, then you're also going to do something like bring down your resting heart rate. See, if you're only eating clean, but you're not doing the physical activity and pushing yourself aerobically and anaerobically, then you're not going to, for example, have a resting heart rate that's down in the 40s, maybe not even the lower 50s. I don't know. Because that really does require both. And the reason why that's important is because if you have a heart that is so efficient and a metabolic process so efficient at delivering all the nutrients that you need to your body's cells, that it brings down your resting heart rate in a healthy way down to those numbers, then that translates to how you feel on a day-to-day life. Everything is easier. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Hard work, easy work, doesn't matter. Your brain is going to be more high functioning for your mental health and your mental acuity, your awareness, your alertness, all those things. And you're much more likely to just continue feeling like yourself and more of yourself as you get older, as you get really old, instead of slipping into Alzheimer's or dementia. And especially if you're on medications too, because medications, man, over a long period of time and a short period of time, but you may not notice it until later down the road, it starts to chip away at who you are, and you start to feel less and less like yourself. It just goes with the territory of that stuff. So that's another reason of many reasons to live a lifestyle that is faithful to your own body, so that you don't require medications as you get older, no matter what age you reach. And make sure you have a doctor that's on the same page with you. I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, so those are the main things I wanted to talk about, and some solutions. I hope you got a ton out of this video. Subscribe to my YouTube, like, comment, share some things that you've been doing, share some things that you're lacking in that you know that you need to draw a line in the sand and improve on. And doing those kinds of things really helps my YouTube channel, so that more people are exposed to this kind of content, and more people get more information, and more people improve their lives. And that's a beautiful thing, okay? And also, I have a group on Facebook called Changemakers. Ask me for the link. I don't know if it's going to come up. I don't know how many other Changemakers groups there could be. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I've got one called Changemakers, and it's for people who are interested sincerely in living a healthy, chemical-free life or making much better money. And just ask for the link. I'll send it to you. It's for positive-minded people only. I've got a no tolerance policy for toxicity. I like to keep it a safe haven for people who want to get away from the noise of what's out there and just go to a place that's supportive of a journey where you're going through a process of getting better and better, because that's the name of the game. Just getting better and better. That's it. Just getting better and better, no matter where you're starting from, okay? Love you all. Mwah. Take care. Share this. Subscribe, like, comment, and take care of yourselves, and show other people how they can too. Bye for now.